People call jiu-jitsu human chess all the time, but most of the time, that phrase gets repeated without anyone really explaining it. Because on the surface, chess and jiu-jitsu seem completely different. One is quiet, still, and cerebral. The other is physical, exhausting, and can sometimes hurt. So why do so many people compare them? Because underneath the surface, they're built on the same core idea: position, pressure, timing, and forcing your opponent into bad decisions. And once you understand that, jiu-jitsu starts to make a lot more sense. It stops feeling random and starts feeling structured, almost predictable in the way patterns repeat. The comparison is not really about intelligence in the way people think. No, it's not just about smart people do jiu-jitsu. And it's not because both activities are somehow equally calm and strategic every second. The real reason chess is like jiu-jitsu is this. In both, winning usually comes from solving a sequence of problems better than the person in front of you. You're reading threats, you're protecting vulnerabilities, you're improving position, you're setting traps, and you're constantly thinking one or two moves ahead. That's the similarity, not the look of it, the logic of it. Once you start seeing roles as problem chains instead of random scrambles, everything begins to slow down mentally. Section 1. Position matters. The first big similarity is that in both chess and jiu-jitsu, position matters more than flashy movements. In chess, you can't just launch random attacks and expect them to work. If your pieces are misplaced, your king is exposed, and your structure is weak, aggression usually backfires. Jiu-jitsu works the same way. A lot of beginners focus on submissions the way bad chess players focus on checkmate. They want the finish immediately. But strong grapplers understand that the finish usually comes from position first. Mount matters. Back control matters. Inside position matters. Head position matters. Control matters. Just like in chess, a better position creates better options, while a worse position forces rushed and desperate decisions. Section 2. Every move creates consequences. In chess, every move changes the board. Even a small move can create a weakness, open a file, expose a piece, or set up a future attack. Jiu-jitsu is the same. Every grip matters. Every frame matters. Every post matters. Every shift in weight matters. If you reach with the wrong arm, you may expose a triangle. If you posture carelessly, you may give up an arm drag or a back take. If you pressure too hard in the wrong direction, you may walk into a sweep. Nothing happens in isolation. Every action creates a reaction, and every reaction creates the next opportunity. The people who improve fastest are the ones who start seeing the consequences before they fully happen. Section 3. Problem solving under pressure. A good chess player is not just making moves. They're solving problems. How do I improve position? How do I remove this threat? How do I force a reaction? How do I limit my opponent's choices? That's exactly what high-level jiu-jitsu feels like. When someone experienced rolls with you, they're not just randomly applying techniques. They're presenting you with problems, a grip you have to address, a frame that's collapsing, a leg that's trapped, a posture battle you're slowly losing. And while you're dealing with one issue, they're already setting up the next one. That's why experienced grapplers feel so difficult to deal with. They don't overwhelm you with chaos. They overwhelm you with connected problems. Section 4. Traps beat force. Another reason chess feels like jiu-jitsu is that both reward traps more than brute force. In chess, you don't win by trying to overpower the board. You win by creating situations where your opponent's options get worse over time. You bait mistakes. You restrict movement. You create patterns. You make the wrong move feel natural. That's exactly what good jiu-jitsu does. The best sweeps, passes, and submissions often work because the opponent was guided into the wrong reaction. You threaten one thing to expose another. You force them to turn the wrong way. You trap an arm while they think they're defending the neck. Strategy, not strength, is what creates clean finishes. Section 5. Patience is a weapon. People who are new to both chess and jiu-jitsu usually make the same mistake. They rush. They want something big to happen immediately. They want the submission now, the takedown now, the checkmate now. But experienced players understand that forcing things too early creates openings for the opponent. In both systems, patience is not passive, it's strategic. You wait for the right moment. You improve small details, you strengthen your position, you deny counters. Then you attack when everything is in place. Now that's why skilled grapplers often look calm. They are not inactive. They are building towards something that becomes difficult to stop. Section 6. Think ahead, but stay present. This is where the comparison becomes even more interesting. In chess, you have to think ahead, but if you ignore the current position, you make mistakes. Jiu-Jitsu works the same way. You need a plan, but you also need awareness of what is happening right now. You might want a submission, but if you skip control, you lose everything. You might aim for a dominant position, but if you ignore grip fighting, you lose the exchange. The best grapplers think ahead without disconnecting from the present. They understand the next move, but they stay fully aware of the current one. That balance is what makes them feel so sharp and difficult to deal with. Section 7. Small advantages compound. One of the most important lessons in chess is that small advantages add up. A better square, a safer king, a more active piece. None of these win immediately, but together they create momentum. Jiu-Jitsu is exactly the same. A better grip, a stronger frame, a slight angle, an underhook, a better head position. None of these end the round instantly, but they stack over time. And once enough small advantages build up, the situation starts to tilt heavily in one direction. That's why advanced grapplers often win without explosive moments. They accumulate control until the finish becomes almost inevitable. Section 8. Both humble you fast. Another reason chess and jiu-jitsu feel similar is that both humble you very quickly. You can feel confident for a moment, then one mistake changes everything. A blunder in chess can undo 10 good moves. A bad decision in jiu-jitsu can undo minutes of control. That teaches humility. You learn that ego gets punished. You learn that details matter. You learn that confidence without discipline is fragile. Most importantly, you learn that improvement requires honesty. Both systems force you to see what actually happened, not what you thought was happening. That's why people become obsessed with them. They expose weaknesses, but they also reward growth. Section 9. The big difference. Of course, chess and jiu-jitsu are not the same. In chess, there is no fatigue, no pain, no physical pressure. Jiu-jitsu adds something completely different. You have to think while someone is actively trying to control you. That means your strategy has to work under stress. And your decisions have to hold up when you are tired and uncomfortable. That is what makes jiu-jitsu unique. It carries the same logic as chess, but with real physical consequences. And that pressure reveals whether your understanding is truly solid or not. So why is chess like jiu-jitsu? Because both are built around the same deeper principles. Position over panic, consequences for every move, problem solving under pressure, traps over force, patience over rushing, and small advantages that compound over time. That's why the comparison has lasted so long. Not because they are identical, but because they reward the same way of thinking. The difference is simple. In jiu-jitsu, the board fights back. If you train, you've probably felt this already. The best people don't just feel athletic. They feel like they're always a step ahead. Drop a comment if jiu-jitsu has ever felt like human chess to you. And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe to Choke Science.